What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how are you doing?
Doing fantastic. How about you, buddy?
I'm not doing too bad. Excited. Got a couple bones to pick today, but I'm excited doing this before Game 3 of the Angels-Orioles series.
What does it matter?
Whoa, 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 whoa! I don't disagree with that statement, but whoa, come on, a little optimism.
Shots fired early.
A little optimism. That's how this podcast is going to be. So before we get it rolling here, I just want to say thank you for everybody watching and listening to this podcast. Stick with us through the off season. We're going to have a whole bunch of fun guests on the show. That's for sure. Plus, at the moment, with the way the Angels play, off season is more fun than the actual season anyway. So,
Whoa.
no, I'm coming
Goes both ways.
Yeah. But go ahead. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are not watching us on YouTube, jump over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and watch us there. A lot of fun doing that side of stuff as well. Follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow myself on Twitter, X, at Jared_Timms, Nate at NateGreen34. Let's get it rolling. Nate said I had a bone to pick. I have 3 bones to pick because I just thought about it. Number 1 is that Andrew Velasquez is no longer an Angel. Who is your next pick? Because you are miraculously now did you say Phil Nevin or did you say Jaime Barria? And I need a definite answer.
I said Phil Nevin.
All right.
But because his contract's going to end here in the next 3 weeks, is that really fair to just... I guess they could re-sign him.
If so, I'll give it to you. If they let him go before the season ends, I don't think that happens. I think
second to last day of the year, they just relieve him of his duties.
All right, that's bone number 1. Congratulations. You're now 2 for 2. You got Tucker Davidson removed from the Angels. You now got Andrew Velasquez removed from the Angel. Listener of the show as well, maybe possibly even watcher of the show. I don't know.
No, because I didn't get blocked like you. I for sure would have gotten blocked if that was the case.
Never said a thing to him. With that being said, couple bones to pick here. Has Chris Russo ever been right? I didn't know which one I wanted to start off with. Has Chris Russo ever been right?
Today.
Today's the first day he is right.
First time for everything.
Nate, I am already over the Shohei Ohtani saga. I'm already way over it in this. The postseason hasn't even started. The offseason hasn't even started because the postseason is going to be talking only about Shohei Ohtani and what's going to happen in the offseason. And I hope you're ready for that. And then the offseason is just going to be Shohei Ohtani, the entire offseason, and what he's going to make and everything like that. So, but first off, I'm completely over it. I do have a question with that. What's going to be worse, this offseason with all this Ohtani stuff, or like the Brett Favre saga, the Tom Brady saga? You have to think about it. It's that tough.
Not really, but I'm just trying to make it sound like it's hard. No, the Ohtani saga is gonna be tough. Yeah, Matt Dog Russo, right? It took me like 20 minutes to convince you that you actually had to listen to the video because he was going to be right for the first time ever. But I'm glad you watched the video. But yeah, it's gonna grow. You know that the agents are going to want to control the narrative, and that narrative is going to be, how much can Shohei Ohtani generate for you? And the more buzz that's filled around Shohei Ohtani, the more money he's going to be able to say he earned and that he deserves. And so the more he's in the news, the better it is for Ohtani's agents because he's going to make more money. So you are going to hear every single detail of Shohei Ohtani this offseason just because the more his name's in there, the more teams are going to be willing to bid for him. Not just because he's a good baseball player, but because he's going to bring in money as well. So, yeah, it's going to be everything you hear about. It's going to be like Bryce Harper, or it's basically going to be like a Scott Boras client all over again, where Scott Boras just hypes up his client the entire offseason. Guy signs 2 weeks before spring training, and it's like we had to hear about Scott Boras and his stupid client for 4.5 months. It's like, dude, Scott, you knew this guy was going to sign 2 months ago. Like, just sign the freaking contract and get over with it. So, Yeah, that's my gripe about it, I guess.
Scott, we had him at 7.5. You got him,
Mm-hmm.
Billy. If it's at 8.25.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
played me. You played me, Billy.
You
No, you
do.
played me, Scott. So yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna go right on record and say it now. Like, I do not care if he returns to the Angels. In fact, the Angels may not be better next year without him. They can only go one direction though with where
Can't
they're at
get
right now.
worse.
You can't get worse than where they're at right now. So I might as well say they're probably going to be better next year without him. Um, they won't be playing for Shohei Ohtani. This entire season was for make sure we play for Shohei Ohtani, and that's we said at the beginning of the season that's been the biggest issue this season mentally is they're playing for one guy. You're not playing as a team, playing for one guy, and it just that's just not the way this is supposed to work. So once he's off the Angels, it sucks that I have to say this. If he's off the Angels, because you never know with Artie, he might go out there and spend the money. You know,
Maybe
we
the
might,
price has gone down a little bit with the oblique and the Tommy John, possibly, like all these things. Like,
yeah,
the price
yeah.
goes down a little bit, and Artie goes, "Hey, my pocketbook opens this much. This is how much I'll give you."
Well, this is the opportunity for Artie to come in and say, hey, like, do you think you're going to get a better offer than this? Like,
Yeah,
yes, you can go explore the free agent market, but
this is my if Artie plays it like Artie will, because we know Artie's probably going to do this. He'll say, "Here is my best and final offer. I'll make an offer, but it's going to get lower the more we get into the off season. So here it is. Take it or leave it. If you don't take it, you're probably not getting anything better than this. And if you do, more power to you. But you're not getting anything better than this out of me."
yeah, and that does worry me because the Angels don't need. This is going to come off where the Angels don't need Shohei Ohtani right now. Like, they don't need that contract. They don't need it. They don't need somebody who's injured next year. Like you like to say, may never pitch again. I think he ends up pitching again to some degree. They need a hitter like that. You need a hitter for sure like that. Like, the fact that you're losing a arguably the best hitter in baseball, maybe not the best hitter in baseball, but arguably the best hitter in baseball this year is tough. 100%. Nothing against that. Nothing against Shohei Ohtani. I'm already over this Ohtani saga. But Chris Russo, back to what we were saying, he made a lot of sense today. Made a lot of sense with what he said. You can check out the video. I put it on. I put it on my.
ESPN.
It's on ESPN for sure too. And I put it on my Twitter X as well, Jared_Thames. You can check it out there. I don't. We're gonna be talking about this a lot. We're gonna be talking about Shohei a lot this offseason, and I have a feeling I'm gonna get very annoyed this offseason of it. Just because the Angels really haven't been in this situation before either, where they have a guy like this that can and will go make a lot of money, and the Angels are only going to be getting hopefully a second round pick for him. If he
They've
wants.
had this happen one time, but Trout signed before he was able to hit free agency. So I think Weaver might have gotten to free agency.
Technically,
but like, yeah, that's probably the last guy that really could have made some money.
Yeah. Yep. So it'll be interesting to say. Like I said, personally, me, don't hate the guy. Ohtani is a fantastic baseball player, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it. I've already gotten a lot of hate for it. But I don't let the door hit you on the way out, in my opinion, for that. I know it's tough to hear that, but like, if they sign him for a relatively inexpensive deal, Mike Trout money, maybe it changes my mind a little bit, and I feel a little bit better. But I don't see him getting that type of money.
He's gonna wait till he gets 5.
Yeah. So
if he doesn't get 5, then
we'll be talking about this all off season. I just wanted to pick that bone because it's in the news and figured, well, we might as well. Next bone that I wanted to pick. Why is Anthony Rendon have a target on his back? I don't quite understand. I get it. I do. I get the antics. I get that pisses a lot of people off. But also, like, why is he all of a sudden just the most hated player? Like, what did he do besides piss off part of the media?
You want the real answer, or do you want the fake answer?
Depends on who you're gonna try to piss off, because I feel like
I'm not gonna piss.
I'm
not gonna piss off
people
anybody.
off this podcast.
I won't piss anybody off, honestly. So I think the reason the target's on his back is because he has the same attitude as Garrett Anderson used to have, where people and People used to think that Garrett Anderson didn't play the game hard because he didn't
Didn't care.
go as hard as they thought he should have, right? Anthony Rendon, you talk to people, you hear what teammates say, and they're like, yeah, how's Anthony Rendon? He goes, well, he's really good at baseball. It's like, yeah, we know that. He's very good at baseball.
Right.
Does he love baseball? No. The only reason he plays baseball is because he's very good at baseball. He doesn't have, as one of my coaches used to say, he doesn't have baseball tattooed on his forehead. You know, he's not that guy. He's the guy who's like, hey, I've been blessed to be very good at this game, and I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm going to continue to do whatever it is I have to do until, you know, it's over with. But like, I don't really know if he enjoys going to the ballpark 162 days a year. You know, I think he's one of those guys that was just blessed early and was like, hey, I'm really good at this, and I'll just keep playing because, you know, I got a Division I scholarship. I got drafted in the first round. I made the big leagues. I was an all-star. Like, just keeps going. But like, I don't think playing baseball brings him joy. I think there are other things in his life that brings him joy. And I think that's why you see a lot of attention thrown towards him, because he has not been healthy as an Angel, and he already has that attitude of, you know, I don't really love baseball. So obviously he's trying to get back on the field. Obviously he wants to win baseball games. Like, if he's out there, he wants to win. But like, there's going to be that doubt in everyone's mind saying, like, is this guy really doing everything he possibly can to get on the field, or is he just collecting a paycheck because, you know, he doesn't love it? You know, like, there are other things in his life that bring more joy than baseball. So that's why I think he has the target on his back.
Kind of sucks. I think that there's just been such a negative stereotype thrown Anthony Rendon's way, and I just personally, I don't think he deserves it. And we even brought it up when we talked about off the records, like, well, what did he really do? Like, he really hasn't done anything in the media. Yeah, like, he hasn't given any answers, but like, nobody talks to the media when it comes to the Angels, right? Like, does anybody really? Like,
Shohei Ohtani doesn't really talk to the media, and it's okay,
exactly.
you know, because it's Shohei Ohtani. It's fine.
Very, very rare to talk to the media. He does.
Have we heard from Mike Trout about his hamate bone since he went back on the IL? No. Have we heard
on occasion you hear from him, but no.
But since he went back on the IL,
no, you haven't heard from him. You haven't heard anything about him. No.
No. Have we heard a word about Jose Suarez, who was supposedly the greatest pitcher to ever grace this earth, and he was for sure supposed to be in the rotation?
You're setting false expectations, but I get what you're saying. Go on.
I'm just saying, like, have we heard from Jose Suarez since?
I haven't heard anything about Jose Suarez, no.
Is he still on the team? Like, does he show up to anything? Like, does he show up to the field to get treatment? Do we even know?
I think he's in Arizona. If you want an actual answer there, I think he's in Arizona.
That's a guess.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, to be honest. Like, I have not heard.
Right? Like,
I asked, but I haven't heard.
And how long was he not going to the facilities to get treatment? Was he going to the facilities to get treatment? Like, how long was that going on?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's Jose Suarez. You know, he's got the 7-9 whatever ERA it is. It's 10. It's bad. You know, it doesn't really matter. He's not an all-star. He doesn't get paid $36 million a year. So I don't care if Jose Suarez does or does not talk to the media. Oh, well, Mike Trout, you know, he's kind of a private guy. He talks to us, but he doesn't talk to us all the time. So it's fine. Like, he's a superstar. We don't have to talk to him. It's fine. Right? Like, how many times have guys gotten hurt and we just don't hear from them? I think it's different because Rendon is there in the baseball. He's at the stadium every day trying to get treatment. You know, like, he's trying to do whatever he can to get back on the field. And honestly, I'm going to say this too, and it's fine. If you don't like a certain person, you're not going to answer their questions. And I think Anthony Rendon has gotten to the point where he doesn't want to answer questions from that certain person. So it's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to not answer your questions. Now, if somebody else would have asked a question, Would he have answered? I don't know.
Or actually, honestly, if somebody else asked the question, he might still give the same answer because that's
it's possible.
personality. But
It's very possible, but it's possible maybe he answers it, or maybe the question gets asked differently and Rendon answers it. Like, there are so many different things that could happen. We haven't really heard from Ben Joyce. Maybe you've heard about Ben Joyce, but you haven't really heard from Ben Joyce himself since his injury. Sam Bachman doesn't get interviewed, right? Like, we haven't heard Sam Bachman get interviewed about his injury.
Arizona, but yes, I get what you're saying.
But these guys are not in Arizona for 6 months. These guys, they go to Arizona right before that they're about to get ready to ramp it up again. So why is it? Did we hear from Brandon Drury when Drury was hurt? You might have heard a little bit about Brandon Drury, but there was never a time where Brandon Drury had to sit and answer questions about, hey, where you at? The medical staff answered those questions, or I guess Phil Nevin asked the medical staff and answered the questions for the medical staff. But, like, those are the people who are supposed to be giving the answers. Like, is it against the rules to ask Phil after a game, like, hey, is Rendon coming back this year? And it's like, well, that's the goal and the hope, but at this point he's still going through some things. It's a fracture in the shin, or it's this, or it's that. Like, the people who are put in front of the media to answer questions should be the people we're asking to answer questions. Anthony Rendon doesn't need to answer questions. Should he have answered the way he did? No. Should he be getting absolutely demolished from some Angel fans for not answering? No.
I think it's funny, actually. Now I wait for Anthony Rendon responses now to see what he says. For me, I think it's funny. I just don't understand. Like, I get.
It's because he makes a lot of money and he's not on the field.
That's really I get the hate for Josh Hamilton. Like, I understand that. Like, you obviously don't want that to happen, but I understand, like, why people dislike him. I get it. It's just that's that side of stuff. Albert Pujols. Pujols is another one. Like, I never really understood the hate for it. Like, yeah, he didn't play very good, but, like, also he could have been a lot older than what he was saying, first off. That's a side note. Like, I don't even know anything, so don't ever quote me on that. But he was on the decline anyways, right? Like, we all know why he signed with the Angels. You all, like, yeah. You know the whole story behind it. For, like, Anthony Rendon, like, I is another one. Like, I don't understand it. Yes, like, he hasn't played very much. Like, in all honesty, like, I feel like he's had some fairly fluky injuries too. Like, gets hit in the wrist, he's out, right? He gets hit, he fouls a ball off his shin and he's out. It's like, he probably fractured for all intents and purposes. Like, he was out this long, he probably fractured it, and he probably can't. It's hard to walk on it and everything like that. But yeah, I don't think he's trying to steal from the Angels at all. Like, at the very least, I mean, Artie Moreno gets his money back for Anthony Rendon. Like, at the end of the day, like, yes, it's towards the salary cap and everything like that, but the Angels have insurance on a lot of these guys, and he's probably getting a lot of his money back for Mike Trout for not playing a lot, and he's probably getting a lot of the money back from Anthony Rendon and heck, even possibly Shohei Ohtani too, because of this injury now, because of the insurance money. So yeah, I get it. I do understand, but I also don't understand the hatred for Anthony Rendon and why all of a sudden, like, there's just a giant target on his back. Like, I don't understand what he's done. And I know a lot of people are going to hate this podcast in general. First off, we went after Shohei Ohtani. Second off, we're saying the exact opposite of everybody on social media about Anthony Rendon. And it's, I don't know. I don't quite understand all the narratives that are going on. And I feel like it's just so bad for the Angels in general. And one of the reasons why the Angels have been bad for such a long time. Like, they just have these type of guys that just, I, me, and not saying that Anthony Rendon or Shohei Ohtani are that way, but, like, when you put it out in the public that way, you put it out in the press, it's hard to ignore it. So I don't know. You got anything else? This is going to be a rough podcast for people to listen to.
It's fine. Yeah, I just think that we have different expectations for different people, and that's the way that it kind of is working out right now, where the Angels want to, or Angel fans want to put bigger expectations on Anthony Rendon than maybe he should have had. The contract he signed, like he's one of the best bat to ball guys in the game. When healthy, he makes contact, doesn't strike out, drives in runs. Like that's his job. He does a very good job with that. To expect him to go out because he gets $36 million and to hit 35, 40 homers every year and to drive in, 120 and hit 360 or whatever the heck they wanted to say he was going to hit, probably 320. Not really realistic to expect that out of 8 years out of him. It sucks that he hasn't been healthy. And the COVID year hurt. Like there are so many things that have really tampered expectations for him and like made things a lot worse for him. And then you have the crowd incident in Oakland, which I think gets brought up. Like people are going to be upset. He hasn't really played games. He's struggling, and then he has that incident in Oakland after being hurt, and it's like not a great look, right? Like, so I think there are things that he's done to not put himself in a great spot with the media and with Angel fans. But I think, just like I always say, winning solves a lot of problems. So
we wouldn't be talking about this stuff if the Angels are winning. We'd be talking after this Baltimore Orioles game that hasn't even started yet for us. So
if he comes back next year and he hits 275, 280, he hits 25 homers, drives in 100, 105, and the Angels are borderline playoff team or a playoff team, nobody's going to care about Anthony Rendon. There will not be the hate. But if Anthony Rendon comes back next year and he's hit 205 with 10 homers and 35, 40 RBIs and only plays 65 games or something like that, like the hate's going to continue. So for Rendon, it's all about being available, and the best ability is availability, and he hasn't really been that. So I think that's where the hate comes from, is he just hasn't been there. When the Angels signed to this massive contract, you expected a lot out of him, and he just hasn't been able to deliver. So it's frustrating for us, because we want Anthony Rendon to succeed, because we know if Anthony Rendon succeeds, this team's probably in a better spot. And we also want the Angel players to feel comfortable with where they're at. Like, we don't want them to feel attacked because they showed up to work today. So it's one of those things where it's hard both ways, where you got to kind of walk that line. But the guy who's asked him questions has not had the best reputation around the team lately. So that's where I'll say I'll leave it there. And yeah, I know you're giving me that look like, what are you doing? But that's honestly what, like, if you're honest with yourself, that's what it is, right? Like that. Yep. That's 100% what it is. We're just trying to create noise, because the more noise that gets created, the more my name gets thrown out there, right? Like, so more views you get. It's all about views. So, guys, with all that being said, Nate, you got Phil Nevin leaving. That's fine. That's going to happen anyways. So, congratulations. You're probably 3 for 3 this year. We could DFA Jaime Barria too. That would make me 4 for 4. His time's over. He needs to go too. That's fine. Let Griffin Canning take that role. So, with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching this podcast. You could go ahead and subscribe wherever you are listening or watching us. Go ahead and follow us on all our social medias: Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow myself on Twitter X at Jared_Tims, Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.